The Indian Navy is seeking a third aircraft carrier and 2 new fighter squadrons to counter Chinese threat in the Indian Ocean region (IOR). In recent months, Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean region has increased, and the Indian Navy believes that a third aircraft carrier will help India contain China. As per reports from the Times of India, the Indian Navy remains keen to push for a third aircraft carrier and 2 new fighter squadrons to counter China's increasing footprint in the IOR. The delivery of India's second aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant, has been postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic. The Navy is expected to push for a grant of acceptance of necessity (AON) for the third carrier, the 65,000-ton IAC-2 INS Vishal. Experts at Eurasian Times believe that the grant may actually pass this time, since the government is fast-tracking pending defense projects amidst soaring tensions with neighbors. To balance the cost of the third carrier, the Navy has also trimmed the number of fighter jets it requested to 36 2 squadrons from 57. Since indigenous jets won't be ready till 2032, the deal for fighter jets might include the like of Rafales, Gripens and F/A-18s and MiG-29. The Navy is not in favor of an offer by Hindustan Aeronautics (HAL) for an upcoming 21,000 crore rupees Make in India contract, as its chopper does not meet requirements and there is a dire need to establish alternative capability in the private sector to manufacture modern aircraft. Sources said that the naval version of the Advanced Light Helicopter (ALH) that is being offered does not meet basic qualitative requirements and is unsuitable for the role required, including urgent search and rescue (SAR) missions at sea. As reported by ET, the Naval Utility Helicopter (NA) plan, originally planned for the private sector under the Strategic Partnership model, is going through a tussle after HAL entered the fray and has requested the government to be included. The ALH has a rigid rotor head and has been designed for high-altitude operations, where it is very good at. The problem is that the design limits it in terms of the blade folding capability. In missions such as SAR, every minute is precious and the ALH just takes too much time to be deployed, a source said. While the Navy is already operating the ALH in a utility role, it requires 111 helicopters for deployment on board ships to carry out multiple roles, including surveillance and ferrying sup. Sources said that there is a need to have capacity in the private sector too for manufacturing modern aircraft, and the NA program will enable the identified winner to procure technology and skills. Besides the Navy requirement, the winning company will have a large domestic civilian market to tap, besides a robust export potential. Source said, China has deployed atomic bomber near Laaf. The new H-6 bombers of the Chinese Air Force has made its appearance in the South China Sea (SCS). The H-6 practiced attacks on surface ships, long-distance strike beside night landings and surveillance missions. The drills conducted by Xi'an H-6 bombers coincide with Chinese Air Force (PLAAF) getting combat ready against India along the Laaf. Military expert told that the H-6J, which made its first public appearance, already has the capability to conduct all-weather combat missions and is also capable of accurately attacking moving maritime targets. The H-6J is an upgraded variant of the decades-old H-6, a large bomber platform which first flew almost 60 years ago. Its size and longevity, interestingly, appear to parallel the Vietnam-era historic B-52. The H-6J can carry 7 YJ-12 supersonic anti-ship cruise missiles, with 6 under the wings and 1 in the weapon bay. The H-6J's weapon capacity is about twice that of the H-6G, with 50% farther combat radius to about 3,500 kilometers. The new Chinese bomber presents some interesting similarities to the American B-52. While it has a slightly different fuselage and external shape, reports that it has all-weather sensors and an ability to hit moving targets at sea are without question new technological capabilities. The H-6J also comes at a time when Quad countries Australia, India, Japan and the United States have united to counter Chinese aggression in the SCS. While the SCS situation has not gone out of hand yet, actions in the area clearly show countries are preparing for an all-out war. After over 2 weeks, the fifth round of Corps Commander-level talks between India and China are likely to be held next week, which will focus on Pangong So at a time when the Chinese troops have increased their deployment in critical areas within their own territory, the print has learnt. All these developments come even as the status quo ante, the early April military deployment positions, that India has been insisting on, appear more difficult than when the whole standoff started in early May. There was no border personnel meeting anywhere along the line of actual control Saturday, as is customary on the 1st of August, which is the raising day of China's People's Liberation Army (PLA). While India was keen for talks this week, China did not confirm the request. Defense sources downplayed this development, saying that the Chinese focus seems to have been on the PLA Raising Day celebrations. Sources also said that the fifth round of talks will be held in the coming week and it will focus on further disengagement, especially at Pangong So. According to a report by IANS, the Indian Army is stretched between its northern borders with China where it is locked in multiple standoffs with the Chinese People's Liberation Army, while in the western borders it is busy tackling the increasing cross-border firing and infiltration bids by Pakistan-based terror groups. In either case, it is air power that could tip the balance. The Rafale fighter aircraft is armed with beyond visual range missiles like Meteor, Scalp and Mica, increasing their ability to take on incoming targets from a distance. A senior Indian Air Force officer said that Rafale fighter jets would be a major force multiplier. There would always be a fear factor within the minds of the enemies, said the officer, adding that even one Indian Rafale fighter can thwart the enemy's plans. He also explained that India will be supreme in the sky when the Rafale fighter aircraft would enter the theater. The Chinese PLA Air Force has about 157 fighters and 20 GJ-1, WD-1K precision strike UAVs. China claims that its domestically developed J-10C and J-16 fighter jets are far more advanced than Russia-made MiG-29, Su-30s and France-made Mirage 2000 jets. It also claims that its J-20 stealth fighter jet has a generational advantage over Indian aircraft, a gap that cannot be fulfilled by any means. The Indian Air Force (IAF) is working feverishly with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited (HAL) and the Aeronautical Development Agency to develop the indigenous Advanced Multirole Combat Aircraft (AMCA). The modular design of the fifth-generation twin-engine single-seat aircraft is said to be finalized. That is what we are putting our energies into, ACM Rakesh Kumar Singh Bhadoria said recently. More than most of his predecessors, Bhadoria has supported the need to focus on indigenous design and manufacturing. 6 squadrons of AMCAs are planned initially. The first flight is expected in 2024-25, followed by trials and tests. It will be in full production by 2029, to be followed by the Mk2 version by 2036. Amid the "Make in India" mantra, HAL could soon announce a JV along with the Defence Research and Development Organisation (DRDO) and a private company to progress the AMCA program.